if we are inherently deterministic, on what grounds should we punish one another? On what grounds should we hold one another morally responsible? Well, this is an argument we've all heard, and it's usually held as an argument against determinism, that if you accept determinism, we should just let everybody go scot-free whatever they've done. Well, that's an argument I want to address in this video, but to kick off, a little bit of background on this. First thing I want to do is just to read you a line from Wikipedia on free will. I'm reading you this line from Wikipedia because it is so succinctly written. It's written better than I can phrase it. Let me read you the line. The standard argument against the existence of free will is very simple. Either determinism is true or indeterminism is true. These exhaust the logical possibilities. If determinism is true, we are not free. If indeterminism is true, our actions are random and our will lacks the control to be morally responsible. Okay, so to elaborate on this a little bit, what we're saying is that if I was to present you at a set moment in time with a specific set of information, that if your mental processes are deterministic, that you will arrive at a certain decision, and that certain decision will be based upon your mental state at that point in time and the information that I've presented to you. If you're indeterministic, then if your mental processes are indeterministic, I should say, if I was to go back in time and present you with the same set of information at the same point in time, you may arrive at a different decision. But you'd be arriving at a different decision given the same mental state and the same set of information. I think you can see the problem here. If your mental state is the same and the information is the same, then your decision is simply random. How can you be held any more accountable for that than if you were making a deterministic decision with a deterministic brain? That's the problem. Of course, some people try and solve this problem by invoking an immaterial soul, but that doesn't alter the foodstuff of the problem. The predisposition, the mental state, it just makes it a soul state. It doesn't alter the actual information that's presented to you. It doesn't alter the either presence or absence of a random factor. All you're doing is removing the problem to a different realm, but you're not dealing with the problem. You're not removing the problem entirely. So this is a problem for everybody. Religion doesn't remove the problem, and any kind of spiritual notion doesn't remove the problem. So let's now go on and look at the problem itself. Okay, so basically what I think this boils down to is, why punish people if they have no control over? This is usually presented in this deterministic context. If people's actions are deterministic, why punish people? Because really they have no control over. I hope I've already demonstrated that even if we take the indeterministic slant, people still don't have any more control over. So where does this question come from, or rather, how do we go about addressing the question? Well, I think the question suffers from two basic faults. The first fault is a misunderstanding or a simplification, an oversimplification of why we punish people. And the second is a conflation of two separate ideas of what having no control over amounts to. So why do we punish people first? Well, the reason we punish people is threefold. One is as an act of revenge, as an act of punishment. In fact, it's fourfold. One is as an act of revenge or an act of punishment, and that's the one that people generally think of. Why take revenge against somebody if they have no ultimate control over their actions to a given set of circumstances at a given moment in time? But that isn't the only reason we punish people. We also punish people because by incarcerating people, we take people out the loop. While they're incarcerated, they cannot commit the same crime, whether they want to or not. There are two other reasons. One, by punishing them, whether that's incarcerating them or whether it's putting them in the stocks and throwing tomatoes at them, which I don't think we do enough of nowadays. It discourages them from doing the same thing in the future. The third is that when we do such things, or even when we send somebody to the electric chair or to have a lethal injection or to be hung, we discourage other people from doing the same thing. So there are actually 4 reasons. It's not just acts of revenge. It takes people out of circulation. It makes people less likely to commit the act again, and it makes other people, it sets an example to other people. That's the first thing. That's the first problem. This is the first stage where this question has come undone, because it isn't taking account of these other factors. The second stage where it comes undone is this idea of not having control over. What are the circumstances where we don't punish people? Where we say, no, this person really doesn't have control over. Well, this is where people, we say they're mentally incapable of arriving at the decision as a normal person would. Maybe they are insane. And the reason we don't punish people who are insane is because we know that our actions wouldn't have affected their decision or knowledge of those actions. We aren't going to dissuade them from doing it again because they're insane. We're not going to dissuade other insane people from doing it because they're insane. They won't think, oh, if I do that, if I attack somebody with a knife, I'm going to go to jail for a long period of time, because they're insane. It doesn't make them any less likely. The example doesn't serve a purpose. So we don't follow through with it. What we do is we do that second trait. We take them out of circulation, but we don't put them in hospital. Sorry, we don't put them in prison. We put them in a mental hospital where they will get treatment. We don't often see it as a punishment. We see it as a chance to rehabilitate them, and also to take them out of circulation to make us safe. So what are we saying here? Well, the point I'm making is that however deterministic your actions are for you as an individual, you're acting on information. And that information includes what's happened to other people in similar circumstances to the circumstances I am offering to you now. It's also acting on information as to what happened to you last time you were in the same position. You had the same choice to make. Do you stab somebody or do you not stab somebody? In both cases, however deterministic you happen to be, you are now in a different epistemological situation. You have more information to go on. Information to go on that you wouldn't have had if that act of punishment hadn't taken place. Even if people are ultimately, absolutely, totally deterministic, we should still punish people to take them out of circulation, because it will alter their actions in the future, and because it has repercussions on the actions of other people who may be equally as deterministic in themselves, but by presenting them with this extra information, it will alter fundamentally their decision-making outcome. Okay, well, I'm interested to know if anybody thinks any differently to this. Clearly some people must do, because this argument is presented so often. Thank you for watching this black and white video. I'm going to lay off the Stan Laurel impression on this occasion. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.